you to the space where healing begins. Truth be spoken, and lives are transformed. You're going to hear some fabulous transformations tonight. Anyways, my name's Monica. I have turned into a metabolic health advocate because I really, really believe firmly that our bodies were designed not to struggle, but designed to thrive. And I feel very fortunate that we have found something that can help us thrive in this environment that we live in with all the processed foods and all the, everything that's been happening with our foods and everything modified. But you know what? Somewhere along the line, we've been taught to chase symptoms instead of addressing them and getting to the root cause, which we need to get to the root cause to actually resolve them. And we've been told over the years to eat less, move more, and rely on medications. And what the real issue is continuing to, it grows between below the surface of what's happening to us. And we're going to address it this evening. So thank you all for being here. We've got a wonderful panel of guests that are going to tell their stories. And we're going to talk about metabolic dysfunction because it's something that affects all of us, actually 93% of adults in this country. And what I've realized is it's not just this country, it's a worldwide problem. I'm going to share my screen here to kind of share because a lot of times we don't even know why these things are happening. Sometimes we think it's age that's causing it, or it's just meant to be that way because we inherited it from our relatives. But the truth of the matter is it's because of our lifestyle, and it's lifestyle related. So if you take a look at this picture here, these are just some symptoms of metabolic dysfunction. It all leads to insulin resistance, and it causes some of these conditions here. And I looked at this when I was first shown this, and I kind of looked and went, wow, I have inflammation. I could tell because in my face, and wait till you see a picture I have to show you. I had some inflammation, brain fog. I had belly fat I was struggling with. So when I looked at this, I went, wow, I've got quite a few of these dysfunctions. And really take a peek at this and see if there's something that you can identify with, because we're all suffering from, like I said, 93% of adults have these symptoms that are suffering with in this country. And it's also affecting children now. But we are going to share something with you tonight that you probably haven't heard of. I had never heard of it. It's these two little packets here. They are quite phenomenal. They really address something that we need help with. And with all the food environment, us eating all the time and snacking all the time, we are elevating our blood sugar continuously. And it's causing damage to our body. All that metabolic and insulin resistance is caused by damage we're causing because we have elevated blood sugar, as you can see in this picture here. And it's causing damage. It makes it so that we can't burn fat. That's why we're struggling with losing weight. We're get desperate at times because we've tried everything. We're doing everything right and nothing's working for us. So with this protocol here, with these two little packets, they became lifesavers for us, and we're going to talk a little bit more about them. This one here is absolutely wonderful. You can mix it with water and you sip it when you're not eating in a fasted state, when you're doing some reduced meal frequency. And then the other one is you take just before you eat. And by the way, this one here gets rid of food noise. It gets rid of that food noise we constantly have that makes us snack. So that's this little package, the yellow one. And then this one here is a fiber, both soluble and insoluble, that you just take before you eat. You chug it like a beer before you eat a normal meal. And what it's going to do, it's going to block carbohydrate absorption and reduce blood sugar spikes by somewhere around 43%. It's amazing. This one here, the one that we sip on while we're in a fasted state, does something for us too that's really amazing. A lot of us are hearing, we were just watching the news, and all over television, there's advertisements for all these GLP-1 shots, and there's a lot of damage that are caused for them. This little packet here will increase your own personal GLP-1 that we're already producing in our gut by 67%. without medications. So when I heard that, and when my friend told me about this, they said, would you try something like this that could get rid of damage that's been caused by my belly fat and everything? Is it something you try? And I said, absolutely. So let me kind of show you what happened with me. And I'll start with my mom's story here. My mom she had type 2 diabetes. My grandma died from it, which is also a metabolic dysfunction that's reversible through lifestyle. Well, my grandma had it and my mom had it as well. And then on top of it, she got diagnosed with cancer. It came up very suddenly. She had stage 4 colon cancer. And she was my hero. She was actually my best friend as well. You know, moms are like that a lot of times to us. We go to them for everything. Well, she got very ill, and I was her main caretaker. And in the process of going through that, looking after her, I was living in Michigan. She was in Toronto. So it was a 7-hour drive back and forth. I myself, my metabolic health really deteriorated. And I blew up to looking something like this. And I didn't know what happened to me. I knew there was a lot of stress involved. But that picture on the right here, I'm smiling, but I blew up. I'd never had this issue before. Mind you, I'd been dieting my entire life. We all have, I think. We're always on a diet of some kind, right? But I blew up, and this time I couldn't do anything about it. No matter what I tried, I was hardly eating. I had uncontrollable urges to snack all the time. I was also drinking. I was in a very depressed state and I blew up. And I'm very thankful that a friend called me and told me about these little 2 packets here. It was a lifesaver for me because once I started using this, I started drinking this. I'm drinking one right now. Between the times I'm not eating, it prevented me from snacking. It got rid of that food noise. And then I took this before my biggest meal every day. In 90 days, by doing that, I shrunk totally. I lost 4 dress sizes in inches. I mean, the body fat went away. I got rid of all the food noise. I wasn't snacking all the time. And I kind of joke, I keep these in my desk here. This was my go-to. I constantly snacked on junk like this. It was terrible. All the salty stuff, I was craving it constantly. This got rid of it. And as you can see, if you look in the right picture here, look at all the swelling. That was inflammation going on. Here I was running a marathon in Niagara Falls, and you can see I'm really poofy. I've got bulges everywhere. I've got inflammation. And just by incorporating these 2 little packets, this is what happened to me. 25 pounds in 90 days, 4 dress sizes in inches. I was also on thyroid medication that I was able to eliminate. The doctors had me on hormone replacement that cost out of pocket $350 every 3 months. It was those pellets they do because insurance didn't cover it. And just before I got started on this, my doctor told me I was going to have to get on a statin because my cholesterol was going high. And I'm really thankful because when I found this, I told my doctor I'm not doing it. And I showed him what I was using because it was in the physician's desk reference, and he said, go for it. I would have done it whether he agreed with it or not, doesn't matter. So that's kind of my story here. And I wanted to share that because this is something that is simple. Anybody can use it and it's going to work for you. So that's enough about me. I'd like to move on here and introduce someone has been the incredible shrinking man. I'd like to introduce Jason. Jason, why don't you unmute yourself there before so we can hear you. But tell everybody where you're from, and we'll start with that.
Now or originally?
Well, I don't know. Tell your story. Go for it. Originally.
Okay, originally I was from Havre, Montana. My mom is on here, Vickie Lowen, and she is the one that got me started on the protocol. And I moved up to Canada back just over 20 years ago now, and I live up here in Maple Creek, Saskatchewan,
Okay.
and just a small little town off the beaten path. But I had went down and seen my mom this past summer and noticed the difference in her and asked what she was doing. And she told me, and at the time I was the heaviest, close to the heaviest that I had ever been. And I had blood work done a couple of years prior to that said I was pre-diabetic. And at the time that was down visiting my mom, I felt that things were going south real fast. And I felt that I was probably fully diabetic without any blood work being done. And I immediately went on and said that, I need to do this. Like, I have
Can
to
I share
change
your
what I'm doing.
picture? Can I share
You
your
can
picture while you're
share.
talking? Okay.
And within within 3 months, I was down 40 pounds. And I didn't realize how heavy I honestly was. And as you can see in that picture on the bottom left corner, that shirt looks like a dress on me. That
Yeah.
was at Christmas time.
Whoa.
So
I'm, hey Jason, I'm looking at this picture here with your belly. That's the scary fat. That's visceral fat. It's choking all your
that's
organs.
that's severe visceral fat. Like when I would fall asleep, the windows I'm sure were rattling inside the house because my snoring was so bad. And now if I snore, it's not that bad. Like it's minimal compared to what it used to be. And so yeah, I haven't felt this good in so many years. I forgot what it was like to be able to hike up and down a mountain and not be out of breath. This past hunting
Incredible.
season was amazing. I was able to keep up with my youngest son. And it's just everything life general. I can't say enough about the product. It has saved my life, and I want to help save everybody else too, because for what it's done for me, I see so many other people with stories similar to mine or bigger than mine.
Yeah.
And it's not just helping one person, it's helping as many people as a person can.
Well, you're a
And
walking billboard. I mean, everybody must notice this. I mean, that's like a major, major change. Let me ask you a question. So, how does your day look? Like, is this easy for you, these two packets? How do you use it every day?
I start off first thing in the morning with my Unamate, the
Okay.
yellow packet, and I'll take that. Sometimes I take the apple spice instead of
Oh
the.
yeah, they have good flavors.
I usually take the apple spice first thing in the morning,
Hmm.
and then I will have the fiber one at lunchtime. And depending on the day, if I get a chance to stop for a break in the afternoon, then I'll have another, let's say the lemon Unamate. Otherwise, I don't have the second one until after supper,
Okay.
which it's still helping me, it's cutting helping me cut back on my snacking in the
Yeah,
evenings.
that's sometimes when the worst time is. In the
It
evenings, you get
is.
the munchies, right?
Well, the
So,
worst part is I'll get the munchies is all of us, if I need to stay awake for something and I'm starting to nod off, I go find something to snack on because it wakes me back up again.
Yeah, I hear that. I've done that before. So have you, I mean, that the results you've gotten, have you found this an easy way to do it? Did you diet or count calories while doing this protocol?
I didn't have to.
Okay.
I didn't have to because the Unamate helps. It helps so you're not as hungry, and it curbs that out your appetite. It suppresses your appetite, is what I'm trying to say. It suppresses your appetite, so you're not as hungry. You don't feel like eating. I used to be one of them people that would come home and I'd have 4 or 5 beer after work.
Yeah,
Now I'm lucky if I open a single can of beer in a week because
that's
I'll have it, I'll grab one out of the fridge and I feel like having a beer and I'll set it next to me and 99% of the time that beer doesn't get opened up. It'll sit there for 2 days and then I'll go put it back in the fridge again. So I
that's
just don't
awesome.
feel like drinking it. So like it's a great feeling to have that.
Well, it sounds like you have control. That's the great feeling. You're not you're not craving certain things anymore, which is awesome. So,
No.
well, good.
So yeah, no, it's been a huge win. And then I take my second fiber balanced drink it before supper.
Well, you
But
look fantastic. And
when I did all of this though, I was only on the 3 packets a day, not the four. I didn't start the 4 packets until my 4th month.
wow,
So I lost the 40 pounds with the 3 packets. I felt better personally by having a fiber before each meal.
that's awesome. Well, I was going to say, what I want to make sure everybody realizes that's going to watch this and watching this, this is not a diet and it's not deprivation. You just add this to your lifestyle, it just makes everything easier. And this is also not a weight loss program. This helps heal your metabolic health, your gut health, and all those things. The bonus is if you have weight
Is
to
weight
lose, you're
loss.
going to lose it.
And
And
that's what
you're,
I tell everybody
yeah,
is the weight loss is a bonus. Your health comes first and it's by this stuff helping your health out, you end up losing weight, that's a bonus because you look at how many people that don't need to lose the weight
mhm.
that are on this and they're feeling so much better and other things. It's helping them in many different aspects.
Well, Jason, I want to thank you for sharing your story tonight. That was incredible. And I still can't get over your belly, how it looked before and how it looks now. That's an awesome sight. Way to go. Congratulations. So thank
Thank
you
you.
very much. All right, we're going to move on to a very, very special man. He happens to be my husband and John, and he has quite a journey, something along the line what you were talking about, Jason, as well. So without further ado, John, why don't you tell everybody where you're from and what's happened with you?
Everybody. I'm from the next door. Monica's right back there behind that door in her office, and I'm sitting at the kitchen table. So I'm from the kitchen table tonight in Broomfield, Colorado. Um, and so, yeah, it's a very similar story to what Jason shared. And I'll just start it off from where I was as a kid, raised in an alcoholic family, and it had adverse impacts on the entire family situation, obviously. But for me, I dealt with my father's alcoholism by eating as a young boy. That was my coping mechanism. I'd go and grab something to eat and go off in a corner or leave the house and that was my comfort. Okay. So I was morbidly obese as a kid. By the time I was in high school, I was over 230 pounds, and I'm not a big man. Okay, I'm 5'10", slight build, and so And I vowed at a young age, as I was growing up, not to fall into the same trap that I saw my dad fall into, being alcoholic. As it turned out, I grew up to be a full-blown alcoholic, and we'll get to that in a minute. But basically, knowing the both physical and mental aspects of morbid obesity, the taunting growing up as a kid, and we didn't even have internet back then, thank God. Okay. I can't even imagine what young people are going through today in social media, the impacts of being obese, and the taunting. But I pretty much fought weight all my adult life. I was a yo-yo, up and down, up and down. Um, uh, and same with alcohol. I'd quit for a while, months at a time. Then I'd come back and even drink more. And so it was really when I came to Denver, Colorado, or out of grad school, started a new career. That's when I really started drinking more and putting on more weight. Coming in, the stresses of a new job in high tech, the social pressures of getting established in a new location here in Denver, meeting new people. Of course, alcohol is a big part of that scene as well. And again, by the time I was 50, I again ballooned up to over 250 pounds. And it was just, this vicious cycle. And it really wasn't until last year, at about this time, that I really needed to make a huge seismic shift for me personally and professionally. But Monica and I went to Costa Rica on a holiday in late 2024, early 2025. And I took a bad fall in Costa Rica and I just shattered my right femur, totally blew it up. Had to have emergency surgery in Costa Rica. Came back to Denver in a wheelchair. You can see me there on the tarmac in San Jose, Costa Rica, getting ready to be shipped on the plane. Came back and I fell into a great deep depression. I was totally immobile. I could not walk. I fell back into my coping mechanisms that I've always relied on that don't serve me well, which are eating and drinking alcohol. I blew up again by April of 2025. So that picture in the middle is me almost a year ago now. And I was just in a real dark place, both physically and mentally. And I knew about this protocol. I knew what Monica was doing with her coaching business. At the time, I was totally engaged in my own consulting business, still in the high tech industry. But I was at a juncture where I just had to really do something, or I was going to continue in a very steep and rapid decline that you see there in April of 25. So I started this protocol in earnest, seriously, it's so simple. And I thought, you got to try this. And then I did. And over the course of the next 6 months, I dropped almost 30 pounds, about 25 pounds down there in October. Just like Jason, I was able to get out and hunt elk. I felt a whole lot better. But I'll tell you what, I couldn't exercise. I was not going to the gym. And as Monica said, this isn't a diet, isn't restrictive eating. It's basically a lifestyle change where you are now incorporating intermittent fasting into your lifestyle. No restrictive eating, no diets, no extreme exercise, because I could not. Okay, I could not. And you can see the results there in 6 months. I continued to down this path. Unbeknownst to me, it got me into shape for something that just happened this winter, right after elk season in 2025. I saw my cardiologist. I've always had a heart murmur growing up, and I had a stenotic aortic valve, which means my aortic valve was abnormal and it was stiff. And my cardiologist last fall said, John, your test results here on your echocardiogram show that you need to have some work done on your heart valve. And again, I had this diagnosis in high school. But growing up and the behaviors I did all of my adult life in terms of poor choices led also to, further complications, I'm sure, in my cardiac situation. So there's a picture of me last month. A week ago, or excuse me, 4 weeks ago today, I had open heart surgery. I had my aortic valve replaced 4 weeks ago. And I wouldn't even be a candidate. I wouldn't have been a candidate for this surgery had I been in the shape I was back in April of 2025. I'm now close to 35 pounds lighter. I'm no longer pre-diabetic. I was pre-diabetic when you saw me in that picture in April. My A1C was over the threshold for pre-diabetes. And my fasting insulin is now down to a very good level of 3, which is another thing I encourage everybody to have their doctors check, is not just your A1C, not just your glucose, but your fasting insulin, which is a very critical marker that shows you just how you're doing in terms of insulin sensitivity. If you're insulin resistant, this marker will show that. Okay. So highly recommend that. And then also, what another key aspect in my story was giving up alcohol. I had to quit. I could not manage alcohol. I tried managing it for years and thought I had it managed for years, but I was a functioning alcoholic. I didn't get in trouble at work. I always had kept a steady job, no problems with the law, you know, no problems whatsoever, but with me personally. And so that picture in April was the last time I said goodbye to alcohol, in that picture in April of 2025. And so I'll be celebrating a year of sobriety here in about 2 weeks. I'm pretty jazzed about that. And one thing I will say about this protocol, that studies are starting to emerge around the effects of GLP-1. As Monica mentioned, GLP-1 is all over the place in today's marketing blitz. But GLP-1 definitely works. And again, your body produces it naturally. You don't need to go get a jab. But what the GLP-1s also do is not only does it affect your appetite, it also impacts your dopamine, which is how your brain interacts with GLP-1. Okay. And so I've just started doing some research on this, and there's definitely a reward hit associated with GLP-1. And it's not only having to do with overeating, but it has to do with drug addiction and alcohol addiction. And so there's more correlations. There's no strong, hard publications, but more and more correlations toward the effects of the Unimate, which, as Monica pointed out, stimulates your GLP-1 production naturally. Because when I started this protocol, I went cold turkey on booze after decades of being an alcoholic. And I'll tell you right now, just as Jason pointed out, I had the similar experience. My cravings for alcohol virtually went away, and I was able to walk away from the bottle with the help of this Unimate and that GLP-1 production. I'm sure that strong correlation came into play. I know that was a bit long, but I had a lot to say, so I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, John. No, those are all very important things. I'm so proud of your journey over this last year. It's been really incredible to watch.
Been
And,
crazy.
yeah, it's been crazy, but I'll tell you, with that correlation with the cravings for even alcohol, like Jason's mentioned and you've mentioned, that's really something to think about with
Yeah.
a
The
lot of people
research is
out there.
just emerging on this. You can go up, the audience can go check it out in Chat GPT or AI, or just do some research on Google. But this is new emerging research linking the correlation of GLP-1 and substance abuse and
That's
how it can
awesome.
help. Yeah.
Thank you, John, for sharing that. That's quite awesome. And congratulations on an incredible transformation.
Thank
It's
you.
awesome. You're
You've been
welcome.
right there with me, babe. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Well, let's go to the ladies. We've got the guys. Let's go to the ladies. Let's start with Carolyn. Carolyn, you're not muted. That's perfect. You're on. I didn't have to ask you. Just tell everybody where you're from and share your amazing story. And I've got some great pictures if I can show them.
Yes, thank you, Monica.
Okay.
Well, I was thinking tonight when you asked me to share, my story really began about 3.5 years ago. Unfortunately, my husband, when he went to Vietnam, he got a thing called Agent Orange. And from the foliage from the trees, he had always been a healthy man, never was on medication. So we were quite surprised when he was told he had stage 4 mantle cell lymphoma. I wish I would have known about this protocol. He might still be here. Nevertheless, even though he had a great faith in eternity and he fought a good fight, I don't think people really knew how hard it was for me full time, watching somebody you love just dwindle away. And I made a lot of poor choices with food and alcohol, and I actually got up to a size 14, and that didn't serve me very well, just through poor eating and drinking. And that's where the change began. You cared enough to get a hold of me, and you asked me a couple of questions if I even knew about what insulin resistance was, and you shared your story with me, and we had some things in common because you had been caring for a loved one that unfortunately had passed away, and you had gotten larger in size, and how it had helped you reshape. Well, you used the word insulin resistance, and a doctor had told me that about 8 years ago. And he also said I was a pre-diabetic, insulin resistant, and said I had non-alcoholic fatty liver. But that's all I got told. I didn't know anything more than that. I know that every time I went to a doctor, they usually said, "Oh, does diabetes run in your family?" And I said, "Yeah, my dad's mother or whatever." But I have since learned that it's not hereditary. I didn't understand insulin resistance. And so you shared a video with me, and I watched it, and it's like the lights went on. I started learning that there's hope, first off. And so I made the decision to try what we call the UFG, or the You Feel Great system. And I'm happy to say that within 4 days of starting this, for me, I knew I had found something that was working. How I felt, the energy, the clarity, no jitters. Um, I loved the taste of the product. I'm a food snob, a taste snob, and I told you
Yeah,
that.
you warned me. You warned me. You
I did, and I said, if it's nasty, I'm going to
Good.
send it back. And you said, don't worry, there's a 90-day money back. And I went, yeah, we'll see how that works. But anyway, I loved the fiber drink that I had before the meals. I liked how it seemed to fill me up and satiate me, and like yourself, I reshaped pretty quickly. Before I knew it, I was back to a size. I started at a 14, and at 5'2", that's not real becoming, and I'm down to a size 6'8". But you know, Monica, more than that, it's the fact that I've cleaned up the inside, this fatty liver, this visceral fat that was over my major organs, and learning about the simplicity of what I do to keep healthy like this now. It's so simple. It's so easy. It's not hard. I've not been on a diet. When I still eat 2 meals, I just skip the breakfast and burn my own body fat. That's a blessing. And that's simple with the Yanamate. And I like it warm or hot or cold, either way. I love all the flavors. And it's just been a major blessing for me. I like how I feel. I like sharing it. You know, I've been involved with wellness products for 33 years, and I have to say right here tonight, this is truly the most important thing that I've ever shared, because when you can help somebody with insulin resistance, it's way more important than oxidative stress or different things that are out there. And it's not some lotion, pill, or potion that's the latest, greatest. This is getting to the root cause, and I know you're going to share more about that. But I just want to say thank you for taking the time to let me know that this was out there, and me making the decision to try it. Thank you.
Well, thank you for listening, for hearing, because now look what you've done. You're helping tons and tons, hundreds of people are being affected by just because you had results. And this picture here, these ones here are really phenomenal. I mean, just incredible. You look younger. I mean, just look at the difference in shape. And you know what? You're not the we it's terrible that we struggle like this and we are not happy with ourselves. And no matter, even if friends and say, oh, you look great and everything, we know we're not happy inside. And that's what matters. It's how we feel about ourselves. So, and there's a picture of your hubby too. I wanted to put that in there because you had mentioned him as well. So
Yes,
there you go. Look at that.
it's hard to believe that was like 2.5 years or so ago, 2.5,
Yeah.
3 years ago. Yeah. Thank you, Monica.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for sharing your story and helping so many people on
Thank
this
you.
journey. Thank you. Okay, let's go on to Miss Vickie there. You got mother and son here, go ahead.
Well, thanks, Monica, for having me on. I appreciate it. And thank you, Carolyn, for sharing your story on social media in April of last year. And that's when I found out about this, as I too was struggling with losing my husband and my mother 10 months apart. My mother at 92 years old, 92 years young, actually, because she lived a great life and had her mind all the way to the end, but she was ready to be done. And 10 months later, I didn't expect to be losing my husband in a motorcycle accident. And it was devastating. And it took its toll on me.
Yeah.
Life got hard. And I didn't know where I was going personally. I was in a bad spot. And like I said, I blew up. Everybody said, you'll lose weight, you'll lose weight. Because I've struggled with weight gain like all of us women have, especially. Over the years, the roller coaster thing, we'd lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, gain weight, exercise, and this and that. So anyhow, it was just a struggle, and and this in the black, that was that was almost 2 years after he had passed. And that was small. I was bigger than that even after he passed, because I need to send Monica the picture of what I was before he passed. And like I said, it was totally different. Like I said, I just exploded with weight, and I was miserable. I was depressed, and food was my comfort. I wasn't into the alcohol thing. I probably could have been easily, but I didn't go that path. But food was the comfort for me. And I started on this protocol. I had before I go to that, I had been on a tirzepatide, which is one of the injections. I did that for 3 months in July of 24, because my youngest son was getting married in December of 24. And I wanted to not look quite as obese for his wedding. So I got some of that off. I stayed on that until about October. I went on to a natural GLP-1 protocol with another company, supposed to be the best thing, and it didn't do anything for me. In fact, I think it even made it worse. So Carolyn had posted this on Facebook, and I had only met her once before, and I started on this protocol in April of 24, or excuse me, April of 25. And I did a study for the company, A1C study, because they asked if there were volunteers. And my A1C went from a 5.8 to 5.3 in 90 days. I lost 16 pounds, 9.5 inches, and the energy that I had was unbelievable. I didn't know I could feel so good. It was just unreal. Monica and Carolyn kept wanting to hear my story sooner and want me to share, and I wouldn't share anything, not until I got my labs back. And so I went to my nurse practitioner for a 6 month checkup in August, asked for labs to be done, which included a fasting insulin lab, because doctors don't ask for that. We have to do that, to take upon ourselves to ask for that test to be done.
True.
And so at the time, like I said, I went to her. My labs had all improved from when I had seen her in January already. I was, like I said, pre-diabetic. I was no longer pre-diabetic. All my labs had reversed. And she looked at me and she said, Vickie, what are you doing? And I just smiled. I handed her my labs, and she looked and she said, Vickie, this is the best your labs have ever looked, and this is the best you've ever looked. Keep doing what you're doing.
Well,
So
look
that
at
put a
you.
feather in my hat, and I called to Monica and Carolyn and told them all my results, and they said, okay, now we need your story. Can we have your story? And so I shared stories, I shared pictures, and put it out there for social media to see my results, and it's been a blessing. It's been a true blessing that I have now found a passion of helping people with their health and helping people feel better. It's my mission now to help people feel better, look better. And I personally have found a purpose because I didn't know what my purpose was. I felt so lost after losing my hubby that I didn't know what my true purpose in life was anymore. And now I have a purpose again and a reason to be alive.
That's pretty touching. And look at you. I mean, you look
A little bit different.
absolutely, you look fantastic.
And
I keep,
I'll be 70 years old in July. And I don't feel it. Like I said, the energy is unbelievable. I have a kitty that likes to wake me up at 5:30 in the morning. And I thought, okay, fine, I'll take a nap later, would be my normal story prior to the protocol. I don't nap anymore. I don't need to nap anymore because I have energy. Just go, 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 go. So I've always been a kind of ADHD person, but I just want to be busy all the time because I have the energy in me and I feel good about it.
well, you're doing fantastic. And everybody here had mentioned about this mission they're on now. This becomes a mission when it affects your life in such a profound way. And you have to think about this for a minute. You know, it's not about dieting or counting calories or all those things. It's when give your body the tools it needs, which these two things are. Your body can do amazing things. I mean, it's a miracle. Our bodies are miracles anyways. They can fix themselves, but they need the right tools. These are just tools that help make it easier. And it's funny when people start using the Unimate and the fiber, they start feeling better, and it's really easy to make positive changes in your life. It's not like the chore, because when we're feeling horrible and we're forcing ourselves to go to the gym, or we're forcing ourselves to try to eat better, we don't have that support. And this is what this protocol gives you, is that support. So
It's so
um
simple.
I know that's the whole thing. It's not a struggle anymore. That's
Mm-mm.
beautiful. So again, for everybody that's watching, take a look at this here and identify some of the things that you may be having issues with. It can be so many more than even are listed on this page. And we have the solution. We're going to turn your dysfunction, your pains that you're suffering with, and turn them around into a positive thing by sipping on this little yellow packet here. We have different flavors, but it's going to get rid of that food noise. It's going to give you more energy. It's going to help turn you into, instead of having elevated blood sugar all the time, you're going to be a fat burning machine if you have weight to lose. You're going to turn that around and make your body function properly. And then that other pack of the fiber, you're just going to take before meals so you can reduce those elevated blood sugars. And, you know, people always say, well, yeah, I want to try this. That was my thing too when I first heard, okay, how much is it going to cost me? That's the first question. Well, you can go and buy it at full price from the Amazon store. It's $2.44 there. But with us here, you can reach out to any of us here that you know, and we can give you we're affiliates, so we can give you our links so that you get the best price. And this is a forever price. You never pay full price. You can get it for actually $159 with the subscription. That works out to like $5.30 a day. I mean, when I heard that, when I was first told, I said, well, first of all, this is exciting because I spend more than that on coffee every day. I'm just saying, let alone snacking. But the beautiful thing is, and this was really, really a key thing for me, and I know for everybody here, I was told this comes with a 90-day money back guarantee. So if I didn't feel a difference in 90 days from the dysfunction I was feeling, the miserableness I was feeling, I could get a full refund from company. And I said, no one's ever offered that to me. I have probably done every single thing out there. I mean, food delivered to my house that you put in your, freezer and then put in your microwave. I paid a lot of money. I spent thousands of dollars on different things buying shakes at the, pharmacy. I know we can all name a whole bunch of things we've done, including drinking cabbage soup for weeks on end, This here, and I see nodding heads there. We've all done that, right? This here is no risk to you. 90-day money back guarantee. Instead of putting a band-aid on the problem, this gets to the root cause. It's a natural approach. We've got all the clinical studies. This is not something that hasn't got clinical studies. This is listed in the physician's desk reference, which is a doctor's Bible. That's what they use when they look at a medication and give you something to see what the interaction is going to be. Well, we're a nutraceutical and not a pharmaceutical. And the only reason that they're able to be in the physician's desk reference is because there's 50 plus clinical studies on this. This has the clinical studies. It does exactly what we say it's going to do. It's not a miracle. All it is giving your body the tools it needs. It's patented. You can't get this anywhere else except from the manufacturer, and use our referral link so you get the discount. It's also HSA and FSA eligible, so you can use that. That's remarkable in itself. And it's been third-party tested, so it has all that. It's really easy to do in that diagram you can see. Instead of having breakfast, you're going to sip on this hot or cold. Gets rid of that food noise. You're not going to be hungry. It's going to help you stay in a fasted state and burn fat for fuel, your love handles, if you have them to lose. Then eat lunch. We always just prioritize eating good protein. Protein, we need it, especially after 30. We need it for our muscles. And then after lunch, mix up another one of these. Sip on it. No snacking. And then just before you eat your biggest meal, mix up one of these packets of that soluble, insoluble fiber. You're not going to be able to eat as much. You're going to be satiated. This gets really thick. It coats your stomach, your food, and it makes it so that you have a 43% less blood sugar spike. So it keeps your blood from going elevated. Pretty amazing. 2 simple tools. And we have so many medical professionals that are coming on board now, speaking up to talk about this, because doctors become doctors because they want to help people. And what's happening when you go to the doctor now, you get more medication, more medication. This is the solution. Doctors are coming on board big time right now, because I'll tell you right now, since this was introduced 4 years ago, we have over 1 million people, customers on this protocol with clinical results, validated clinical results that has reversed their insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes, amongst many other metabolic dysfunctions. We even have Dr. Ben Bickman. He wrote this book here, Why We Get Sick. He's one of the most well-known metabolic scientists in the world. So we've got all this. So there's really nothing to think about except try it. It'll work for you. We're here to support you. All of us here have experience on the protocol itself, and we know exactly how to coach you. It's a very simple thing, and we're here to support you. And as a matter of fact, every Tuesday, tomorrow, actually, we will do a science call. We do this every Tuesday to support us and you to learn more about metabolic dysfunction and insulin resistance. We have medical professionals that come on and teach about different topics on how we can improve our health. And that's free to the public. So get with us and we'll tell you what the link is for that. It'll be on tomorrow evening. But let's close off here. Does anybody want to unmute themselves real quick, and just real quick in a sentence or so, tell us what was the easiest thing, or what a message you'd like to say to the audience that would help them try this out? Who wants
I
to
just
go
want
first?
people to know that I didn't exercise at all when I was on it, because I was wanting to find out if it truly worked without exercise, and it does. So, yes, if you exercise, you're going to get better results probably. But like we said, it's not a weight loss anyhow, but getting that metabolic health reset, but it works.
Thank you, Vickie. And guess what? You don't have to exercise, but all of a sudden when you're on this, you're going to start wanting to do something.
And that's what I'm doing now. So
I know, I mean,
resistance training, like I said, go to the gym and you just don't, it's not an effort to do it anymore. It's just simple.
well, every time I call you in the morning, you're out doing something, running, walking, whatever. You're out there moving. Anybody else want to add anything real quick?
I believe that was so for John also. Here he was in a wheelchair, or he wasn't able to work out, and still he reshaped reshape, drop that body fat. And it isn't a diet. And people get that, well, I
Right.
really need to lose weight. This is changing your metabolic imbalance. It's the best thing I've ever done. What can I say? Just try it.
Thank you, Carolyn. Anyone else?
And I want to let people know that it's not, everybody's different. Not everybody's going to lose weight. Not everybody's going to feel better in the first 2 weeks that they're on this product. Yes, I had great success in the first 3 months. John had success, like lots of us have had success in the first 3 months. There's several people that they didn't see any success in 3 months. They might have had a little bit more energy, but they seen no change. And I know a couple people that my wife is one that 5 months in, she finally started to notice, change. She was losing inches. And after she started losing inches, then she started losing a little bit of weight. But it just doesn't happen overnight, and people get so frustrated that it's more stick with it because it does help.
You made a really good point there, Jason, because everybody is different. And we didn't get to how we are in 3 months or sometimes a year. We've had decades of making ourselves sick. So give it a good chance. You're absolutely right. Thank you for saying that. We say 90 days. I'm on this protocol now for 4 years, and I'm going to stay with it because it's given me freedom in my life to be healthier and not to have to worry about all the things I've been struggling with my entire life. So thank you for bringing that up. That's awesome. John, did you want to add something too?
Everybody, I just echo what everybody said, and especially Jason, that's such a good point. And also is don't overanalyze it. Don't overthink this. This is the simplest protocol, and that's where I got stuck. Okay, I'm an analyst, and sometimes it gets me into trouble. And so I just thought, wow, I saw people using this with good results, just following just the simple intermittent fasting. If you are listening and you have not introduced yourself to the concept of intermittent fasting, do some research, do some study. You will be amazed at the benefits of just that alone. But then intermittent fasting coupled with this protocol, with the other two tools of this protocol, that's what really it amplifies the benefits of intermittent fasting. But definitely do some research on fasting. And this makes fasting doable and really kind of enjoyable.
Thank you. Right on. We all can say that. So thank you, everybody, for sharing your lives here so vulnerably. It's very important to do that because we are on a mission to help others, because we all are the same along somewhere. We're all looking for the same outcome. So thank you, everybody. Get with us so that you can get started and get the discount. And I want to thank you, everybody, for coming on. If you had any questions, we couldn't see them in the comments. We'll look at them later and answer them for you. So thank you very much this evening.
Thank you.
Have a great night, everybody. Thank you much.
Thanks.
Sorry, it's ended, but I had to stop the record there.
Monica, look at the text I just sent you. One of Jason's friends or clients, Natasha, was trying to get on, and that's what she got as a message.
What's that? I'm
You
sorry.
weren't on live, right?
I hope not anymore. Let's see. We may have been, but I can edit it out. Don't worry.
Okay.
We can end it. So what am I looking at?
Natasha. That's what she just sent me that picture during the deal. She was trying to get on to watch it on our lives, and that's what was showing up.
I have no idea.
Because she said
Still
she
showing live on Facebook,
Yeah,
Monica.
I could
It's
see it
what-
on my phone, but she went to find it, and she couldn't see it. She went to my page, she went to Monica's page, and she couldn't find it.
Well, and at the start, I went to Monica's and I found it, so then I shared it. But then I told Natasha about it, and she asked if we were live yet. And so then I sent it to her, and when I went back, the feed on Monica's page had disappeared. It was gone. Like it
I have
was
no
not
idea.
allowing,
Did you see it, John?
like it was.
Yeah, I saw your feed, and maybe it just scrolled down because sometimes that happens. Um,
But it put the previous live, let's say from a couple days ago, but it took that live feed away,
No,
like the
mine's
one
mine's
tonight.
there. It's on
it
my
might have
Facebook.
just shifted it
Mine,
down.
it
I've
shows
noticed
on
that
mine.
before.
Yeah, people have to, and if they're, here's the thing, I don't know if they have to be friends of mine or nothing, but no, it's on the live feed. It's there. I can
Okay,
see
but
it.
it wasn't allowing me to share it.
So I friended her during the call.
And you're still live, Monica, by the way. I'm looking
What?
at you on Facebook and you're still live right now.
It's off. It's off.
Sometimes it takes a while to go off.
It still might show that it's on, but it's off. It
Well, I'm looking at it and it's live and I'm seeing us and it's the time delay is not very much.
Oh,
Good
I
old
may have turned it on
technology.
again like last time. There's probably two of us on there now, like last time. So let me go on Facebook and remember last time I hit the button again because they have new settings. So we might be live twice,
Yeah, sure.
Well,
but
I
I can't
guess
do it. Let me go on Facebook.
Danielle must have heard our conversation.
Yeah, I'm on your Facebook right now and I see us and it's real time.
We can't be, it's off.
Uh-uh. It's not.
It's live, baby.
Yeah, because we have people commenting saying they couldn't see it either.
I have no idea why, because we can see it. I don't know what to say.
Let me do a refresh. Yeah, you're still live.
Okay, hold on.